Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday Tirade Entertainment Talk Show with myself and Mr. Tom Connors of Midnight's Edge After Dark, Midnight's Edge Archive, Midnight's Edge Espanol, Mead Radio 2, and pretty much any other Midnight's Edge. I think there's one coming called Mad Night's Edge or something.
That's what he thinks.
No. Oh, he thinks that.
Yeah, we're filming for a live studio audience.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. We got everybody in the house, which I appreciate. We got a lot to get through, and we don't have a lot of time. I am pressed for time today. It's been it's been busy. Let's just put it that way. It's been busy. I was hard partying for my Juneteenth celebration yesterday. So, and prior to that was Father's Day. So, the banks were crazy yesterday. All kinds of weirdness, but there were no banks because it was Juneteenth. Anyway, let's see. How are things going, Tom? What's up?
Oh, I'm having a rough day already, but how you doing?
I'm beautiful, man. I'm beautiful. I'm glad you're here. Got some questions. I got some questions, and I'm sure you can help answer them.
Try.
How did Toxic Femme go last night? You guys do good?
Do good. Good.
Yeah. Ladies behave themselves?
Never.
I didn't think so. Well, we've got some folks joining us this morning. We got Captain Fandom Nerd here saying greetings. We've got Cosmic Squirrel. What is up? He says hail from the cosmos. We got Olaf Von S out there, as well as Dr. Dragon and Dragon Master 360. So we have a lot of dragons here. I feel a plethora of dragons. There's a dragon. That's right. Bud Martin is in the house along with Sean Estep, and we've also got Joey here. What is up? Says it's a terrible light year. Or life year, I guess.
Buzzkill light beer.
That's right. We've got emotionally unstable amphibian. We also have some revised numbers that I don't think any of the trades have gone back and corrected, but we'll get on that in a moment. Let's see who else is here. Oh, we've got the lovely Sherry. She's got a new updated avatar picture with a little heart. Daisy Blossom Flower Child is here. Greetings, young lady. I hope you're doing well. And let's see, Monkey Jeebus is here. What is up, Monkey Jeebus? Good to see you, bud. And Chris Mead's here. Chris Mead, I owe you something. I will get with you. I'm going to talk to Tom at the end of the show. I will get with you. Dark Winter is here. I love the way that's spelled. Any idea why they couldn't make a half decent movie? I don't know, Tom. Why can't Pixar make a half decent movie?
Because John Lasseter's not there anymore, for one.
That's right.
And they've got a bunch of idiots running the show.
They fired the man that could hold the story together. And as nice and is, somewhat story oriented as Pete Docter is, I think that he has shortcomings, and Lasseter was the one that prevented everybody's shortcomings from coming to light.
As the line goes in that thing you do, the talent just walked out the door.
Yeah, that was man, that was a poignant thing to say. That was an amazing end to a great film. You're in breach of contract. Yeah, it was so good.
I quit.
So good. Let's see. Oh, all right, Chris. Well, we'll get together, man. I will let you know. I will hit you up on Gilded. Let's see. My gosh.
Sorry, I forgot.
Did they ignore the level of suck this appears to be demonstrating?
You gilded.
Oh, thank you. That's right. Oh, yeah, we are early in the show. Yeah, thanks for not using the F.
You're welcome.
But we do have a special guest this morning. It is the Boss Man. Greetings, Andre. How are you?
Thanks, everyone. How's it going? I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here. I appreciate that. Thanks for being here. We are not going to keep everybody long today. We have we kind of only have one primary focus, which were the box office numbers from this weekend. There were a couple other ancillary stories. One I'm sure you're interested in. Did you hear about the Conan Comics?
I haven't. Well, yes, but I haven't heard what's out there. What's out there? What's new out there?
Okay, so Titan is now going to be the publisher for all things Conan.
This is the official one by Funcom, right?
I'm trying to grab the story right now, but I thought it was interesting because and I figured you would know. Let me see if I can dig the story up. I apologize. I didn't know you were going to be here or be able to be here. So, Conan. Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
I'm not doing very well at looking it up right now. I'm sorry. Yeah. So Titan apparently is going to be publishing the Conan comics and other things from our writer there, and as soon as I find the story, I promise I'll put it up. But you don't sound surprised. Sure. You don't sound surprised.
Titan surprises me a little bit because I was about to say, wait, I thought it was, and then I decided, well, I want to keep mum.
Yeah. I want to be able to give you a fair shot at it. So
because I know that there may be like some competing stuff going on there as well. So what I wonder is it the official Funcom comics that have chosen Titan as the distributor? That may be the case.
I'm drastically going crazy trying to find this, but it was out there in the press this morning.
Do you need more music?
Yeah. Gosh, this is terrible. I apologize. Normally, I'm far more
Titan. Yeah, I'm checking here myself. See what it is. Titan Conan. Nabs Conan. Okay. Yeah. No, this is something. I see it here. It's in the Hollywood Reporter. This is the official one.
Okay.
I can send you the link in the private chat.
I'd appreciate that. Yeah. Talk
certainly.
About being terribly unfair.
Yeah, this would be the official new line of Conan Comics. I knew of one company in Europe that has not yet been made official, and I knew they were still looking or finalizing someone in the US. And I can only imagine that today is Tuesday. They must have finalized yesterday or something, since it's official now. Like, this is brand new, so I did not know this.
Yeah, I thought it was a fascinating story, and I covered it on the 6-minute daily, which is why I couldn't remember where I got it from. But in order to share this with everybody, let me add it to the stream, and here we are. So yes, Titan Comics nabs the Conan the Barbarian license, and this is exclusive to them as of 6 a.m. PST. The British-based publisher has partnered with the rights holder Heroic Signatures on a line of comics based on not just Conan, but other Robert E. Howard creations. Man, I really hope they get a Schwarzenegger look to it. But anyway, the Hyborian Age has a new home. Titan Comics, the English-based publisher known for its mostly licensed line of titles, has nabbed the comics rights for Conan the Barbarian and many other creations of the fantasy author Robert E. Howard, entering into a co-publishing venture with Heroic Signature, the intellectual property house that owns the rights. The deal covers not just comics, but also graphic novels, as well as remastered archives, including the Omnibus program previously published by Marvel. Wow.
Yeah, this is true. No, because with the license follows all of the reprinting rights. Like, for instance, when Dark Horse had the Conan comics, they were the ones that first reprinted the full set Savage Sword of Conan in like their phone book collections, and the same thing with the general line. So like they reprinted pretty much everything. And then when Marvel regained the license, they could not only reprint their old stuff for the first time, then they could reprint what Dark Horse had created when they had the license. Because when this is like the way that the license works,
that's amazing.
The stuff that is created for it goes with the license.
Wow.
So like now Marvel, they can no longer reprint Savage Sword of Conan and stuff like that. Like that's lost to them now. Or not now, but it will be following next year when this all takes effect.
Yeah,
and they lose the reprint rights, and it goes to Titan.
Yeah, the story says May 2023.
When that sounds about right.
Yeah, so and it'll coincide with the Titan Comics 10th anniversary. So
23. Well, that's weird. That's okay. There must have been some kind of special deal that Marvel has done.
Yeah, it's a Titan Comics 10th anniversary, and so they're going to release it May 2023. So let's see. You've got...
Oh, that's a new title. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, because they're going to take some more time to work on that. But the reprint rights, that should go instantly. On January 1st, 2023. That's when they should be able to reprint stuff, but that they will want a few more months to do stories and to do artwork, because technically Titan can't start writing or doing any new comics or anything until they have the license. Even though they can't technically begin until January 1st.
Well, I'm fascinated. I'm glad that this is finally coming out. You know, obviously you've been sitting on news for a while. So,
well, as I just said, this is news to me as well, because like this is something that must have been signed very recently.
Well, you were holding your tongue because I have a feeling you know some other stuff about some other areas we may get Conan. So I'm gonna not press you on that and say it's very interesting indeed.
I will say I am extremely excited for these comics.
Okay.
I think these are going to be the best comics that we've gotten of Conan since the Savage Sword of the Conan in the 70s.
I can't wait. I mean, I love the artwork that we've had in the past has been incredible. I really do like the stories. I'm a huge pushover when it comes to the films. So I'm excited, and I like the fact that I'm not having to go to Marvel or DC and give them money anymore.
Yeah, and also here you're going to get everything like much earlier with Cull, Solomon Kane, which I know was in the works. So yeah,
I would love that, and I know Razor Fist would love that as well. I wonder if Razor Fist knows this. I should probably send him the story, but yeah. And here's a question: have you seen Jurassic yet? Asks Martin Vasquez. I know that Tom has, right?
I did. I'm probably the only one here who did.
Yeah. Have you seen it, Andre?
Not yet. I haven't had the time. I've been busy writing content for all you guys.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Tom's review is probably the standing opinion that I've heard as far as a consensus. But I'm probably not going to see it.
I'm also slightly skewed. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, but I mean, I think you're right. I think they just kind of went downhill from the first one to the last.
Oh yeah, well, in that respect, yes. But I mean, I enjoyed it on the level of just a fun monster movie, because I love rubber monster movies and dinosaurs. So like that to me is like, you could have a movie of just raptors running around for 90 minutes and I'd think it's amazing. Yeah. So like, it don't need no story, just, you know what I mean? So like,
cool.
Yeah,
exactly. Like, so for me, it doesn't take much to get me on board. Like, but for the average viewer, I can see a lot of people, because even I'm sitting there going like, yeah, why wouldn't they do this? Why is this story the story? Like, there's certain aspects of it. But we did just find out yesterday, speaking of Jurassic, that the Blu-ray is going to have an extended cut.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know, that's interesting. I think we're gonna start to see that again, because they're desperate for money. I mean, consider the fact that they're re-releasing Spider-Man No Come Home.
Well, that one, I think there's these two movies specifically, I think there's reasons for. For one, I think that for Spider-Man, there was probably a longer cut that tested well, but they just couldn't put it out in theaters.
And Sony likes money, and
exactly. And Sony likes money.
Out that you know what, this movie, it was surpassed all our expectations. Let's see if we can squeeze another couple of $100 million out of this. And so they're re-releasing it after everyone that was going to buy the 4K Blu-ray and everything, after they've all bought it, after all the money has been spent. Now let's bring out the cut we never said anything about. And I like it because it means that I can see it for the first time.
What's funny is what I said is this is exactly what was going to happen when Mikey reported on that. I believed that there probably was a longer version out there. I said, but we're not going to get it right away on video.
Right.
So they'll wait. I said, and then they'll release it in a couple months, and that's exactly what they're doing. In September, it gets a theatrical release, and then, of course, I'm sure it'll get a home video release before Christmas. And then Jurassic World, the other thing, too, the reason I think we're getting that one is because the movie itself, as far as, like, the studio, they ain't hearing any of this noise. All they're seeing is the dollars rolling in right now.
That's right.
So from what we heard, there was a huge, big, bloated version of this film that Trevorrow did. I had heard 6 hours. I don't know how realistic that is. I would agree maybe more like a 4-hour version.
4 hours.
And I have no idea how much longer this extended cut is, but that could be too. It's another version where it tested just as well as the version that's out there, but because of the limitation that they have in theaters, you know, it's kind of nice to go to a movie and not be 3 hours for once, like The Batman and shit like that.
Well, we've had a lot of very lengthy films. The only one that I think was worth it was Dune, and yet I still think you could have cut a little bit more from it. When we get
Dune was too short and too long at the same time.
Wasn't it? But I mean, to me, it's still a great fucking movie. Like, for all the pitfalls and problems that Andre has with it,
as great as it could have been.
Well, right, but you made the mistake of the age-old mistake of reading the script before the movie.
Yeah, I know.
That is one of the, and I will stand by that. You can never read a script before you have any idea what the movie's going to be, and it still live up to that.
The problem is that the when you read a script, the movie that you visualize in your head probably is going to be better than the movie you
exactly. It's just like reading the book, right? It's similar in that respect, and I've had that I don't know how many times in my lifetime where I've read either the book or the script ahead of time, and I was very disappointed that certain parts of it weren't in the movie. But it's like you have to just get past it after a while.
Well, again, I mean, I read and read and read and read. I mean, how would you? There's no way to adapt the full books of Lord of the Rings either. But Jackson did an incredible job, and I'm thankful to him for making those cuts because otherwise I would have been there for 10 hours for each film.
But it sounds like Dune 2 is shaping up. The cast is coming together quite quickly.
Yeah, in fact, this was a cast announcement this morning at 10:15 Pacific Standard Time. It was Dune Part 2. Leia Seydoux. Can you say that name? Seydoux?
Isn't it?
Seydoux.
Anyway, so she's going to be playing Lady Margot. So, Legendary. I'm glad they greenlit this project. To be honest with you, I was kind of worried that they wouldn't.
Lady Margot, who was that again? Is that the wife of the guy with the stutter? I think so.
And yeah, I think you're correct.
Yeah. Well, that means we're going to have him, and that's exactly what I wanted. Although Count Fenric, the wife of Count Fenric.
So anyway, striking while the iron's hot following her acclaimed performances at the Cannes Film Festival, Denis Villeneuve has tapped Léa Seydoux to play Lady Margot in Warner Brothers and Legendary's Dune Part 2. Seydoux is in negotiations and will join the All-Star Ensemble, which includes Timothy Chalamet, however you want to say his name, Rebecca Ferguson, Zendaya, and Josh Brolin. I think there are other people there as well. Of course, we're going to see Florence Pugh, Christopher Walken, and Austin Butler. The Walken thing, I'm kind of interested to see how that goes.
I'm the Padishah.
Yeah.
Emperor.
We'll have to see.
That's very inspired casting. So is the one for his daughter. I'm excited for Florence Pugh as that.
Yeah, I got a plan. It's a good plan. It's a plan. And
I'm interested in him to say the spice thing. So
spice. Yeah. It's everywhere. Spice. It's the universe.
The spice must flow.
Let it flow.
There you go. Well, anyway, so the film was kind of an experiment when part one released because it was a hybrid release on top of the fact that, theaters weren't exactly bustling. I have a feeling that this second film is going to make all that money missed.
That's what's sad. Look, you know what? I'm glad they should have held this movie off till this summer. I'm looking at the next few months of movies coming out. There ain't fucking shit coming out for the next few months. It is going to be one of the driest summers we have ever had. As soon as Thor is done, that's it. That's summer, kids. There is no more big movies left. That's another reason why Sony's probably re-releasing Spider-Man at this point, because they got nothing else.
No, because they've seen everyone else has got nothing else either, meaning that the marketplace is just perfect.
Yeah, like, I can't believe this. I'm looking at the next few months. I'm like, if they would have just waited and held Dune off for July, it could have owned July. Like,
yeah. Could you imagine opening on July 4 weekend for Dune?
Even if you waited 2 weeks for Thor to get 2 weeks out of the way, middle of July,
it would have destroyed Thor. Maybe you're right. Maybe middle of July. I'm sorry. I don't think Thor's going to pull the numbers some people think.
I think it's going to do well. That's the thing, is everything is. This is what I was saying before, and this is why the studios, I'm sure, are kicking themselves in the fucking nuts right now, and they should be. They should be, because everything is overperforming on its opening weekend. Even the stuff that in the end doesn't perform as well has been overperforming. Even Doctor Strange overperformed. The Batman overperformed. They didn't end very well, those last two, but everything else across the board that we've mentioned has overperformed and ended very well. Top Gun being one that nobody could have predicted did it that well.
I thought it was going to do very well. I'm going to stick to my guns there.
You did say it was going to do well, but there ain't nobody. I can't remember anybody who said it was going to make $1 billion.
I didn't say. I said I don't think it'll. I said multiple times I don't think it'll make $1 billion. So I will own up to that. But it's going to. It's going to. Look in the UK, and I don't have the story pulled up, but in the UK, and we'll go back to the panel side of this. In the UK, Lightyear came in third on opening weekend. It was dinosaurs, jet planes, toy.
I'm not surprised. I can't believe that didn't happen here.
It was close. It was close, and that's kind of the other story.
I wonder. Okay, allow me to put my tinfoil hat on, you guys.
Of course.
Do you think this might be because they fortified the box office a little bit, and this is as bad as it really did? Is this them actually fortifying shit like they normally do? I
only know, in my family and friend circles, 4 people, five or 6 people total. 6 total is what I'll say that went to see this.
I know Chris Gore went and see it, but he saw it at a preview screening.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to stretch and remember if anybody else we've talked to, and you've been on most of the streams I have, both of y'all. Mm-hmm. So, and I can't remember if anybody else had seen it, and I don't think they had.
No. And in Duck Nation, you're right. Most films are front-loaded the box office.
Well, that's the Godzilla effect, and this is something I kind of proposed as it's still kind of a video in thinking, but ever since that year, they kind of figured out we can, no matter how bad this movie is, we can make sure it opens and makes its money back its opening weekend. So ever since then, movies have been trying to do that. Like this open big, get the movie out there, let the word of mouth destroy its future, but as long as you can get those first few $100 million in, then you're good, right? And that kind of started with Godzilla, unless you guys can think of something before that. But I remember them spending a shit ton of money on the advertising, and it was probably one of the most successful advertising campaigns in history, if you ask me. But the movie itself didn't do well at the end, but it did well enough that Sony was still planning on making a sequel for a while.
Yeah, and he was talking about Lightyear. This guy right here, Valiant Renegade. Check out his channel. He dropped is lots of content on Lightyear this morning, and yeah, it was a huge success of Valiant for Paramount and Universal. That's right.
Well, now Paramount needs to take this shit by the reins, right? This is up to them at this point. They've got the biggest movie of the year so far. Yeah, it is the Godzilla effect. It really is. It's where it kind of started. I mean, Independence Day was kind of the
Yeah, that was
ground zero, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Yeah,
but like
I mean, you got the preview screening on July 3rd, but that was like, it was a perfect time.
No, but I mean, like, it was like somebody said, let's take the advertising campaign that we used for Independence Day, because it was the same guys who made Independence Day, who made Godzilla, but let's mix it with E.T. and see what happens. And look what happened. Like, I mean, basically, you can kind of equate what E.T. did with Reese's Pieces to what Godzilla did with Taco Bell.
Yeah.
And the fact that they kept Godzilla under wraps until the movie came out, which is another trick that E.T. used.
Right.
And then the big, like, in-your-face campaign like Independence Day, they had that going for them. I mean, and that just guaranteed them that big opening weekend. And I think it made like $300 or $400 million in the end, but it just, you know, the stink of the film's reception killed any future of that.
That's the thing nowadays, is the word of mouth campaign can absolutely destroy you.
Well, and it comes in faster waves now.
Yeah, because
and that's what's so destructive.
Well, you get the previews, right? I mean, you get people seeing films as early as Tuesday and Wednesday, the weekend they're supposed to release. You know, and then you get word of mouth.
That's funny. A movie coming out in general on Friday can be dead on Tuesday due to word of mouth.
Yeah, and
one negative tweet. That's all it takes.
Yeah, from the right person. But we have Christian Delorme sending us a couple super chats. I want to get to him. First of all, this was complimentary for Tom for a Canadian $5. Love you guys. Tom, you sing a mean Disco Inferno. It would sound better with reverb. Well, he's got reverb now.
So he wants reverb.
We can fly now.
Burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno, burn, baby, burn.
All right. That was my 70s disco for everybody. We got Christian Delorme again for another Canadian $5 saying, hello, Andre. According to The Simpson, you guys are Canada's substitutes. Wow.
I don't think,
really?
No, I think Norwegians are much more bougie than Canadians.
Possible.
I don't know. If you ask the other Scandinavians, the Norwegians aren't so much bourgeois as we are the inbred hillbilly hicks.
True, I guess, but like just the way you guys talk about things over there compared to what I would envision Canada being like, I don't know about that.
Well, I think it depends. Okay, you know what was fun though, to compare the Norway and Canada. You need only to look at the mooses, which are like the prides of the country.
There might be something to it.
No, it's actually hilarious because like there's a Canadian city and their pride is like this artificial moose statue, and it looks like some crap some kindergartnens threw together, and then. And then you have like this glorious chrome thing that's the Norwegian equivalent. I think that's just about everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, look it up. Like there was even like some late show or something. I think it might have been Colbert that did a special on it actually.
Wow.
Yeah. But to go back to VR's statement here.
Yeah.
Like Brian Robbins just took over Paramount, and a lot of what he said in his recent interview, I think it was either Deadline or Variety that did it. Some of it I was glad to hear, but some of it, it's like you're just going to make the same old mistakes that everybody else is making. And I see Paramount. The problem I have with Paramount is they have the tools, they just don't have the talent. And for some reason, they keep relying on the wrong talent, i.e., like J.J. Abrams, Seth Rogen, what have you. Sonic is an anomaly, I think, mainly because honestly, I don't think if Sega didn't have some kind of say and sway over it, we would have gotten the weird Sonic. I bet. I don't think Paramount would have buckled and redid that.
Yeah, and Woke to boot.
Yeah, I apparently in Canada, Christian Delorme says another $5 Canadian for Andre. We have Caribou. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but we have muscus. You can take your caribou and
Okay, well, I caribou's like a fancy moose, right?
Yeah, exactly. We have Norwegian caribou when we call them muscus.
I thought they were more like a deer.
I don't know.
No, these are more like bison.
Okay, they are pretty big. Yeah, I suppose.
Hank says Tom is super bougie.
I am.
Okay. And Paramount has a Kurtzman.
Oh God, that too.
Yeah, and you know what? And it's a tragedy. I mean, it is. It's not Greek, but it's a tragedy. Speaking of a tragedy, I want to get back to this because, again, Valiant did some great work on this. Do check out his channel and the content.
Valiant always does great work.
Oh yeah, well, it goes without saying, but
he's on the way to 10K too. I saw.
Yeah, he is. He's nearly there. Dude went blowing by me. I felt like Linda Ronstadt blew by you. So, but we've got the numbers, which I have to tell you are not accurate or weren't accurately reported by the trades, which is common because they're just estimates. But when we look at the financial data information gathered by the numbers, you can see Lightyear actually rocked underneath $51 million as they were reporting for the weekend. So that puts them at 50.5 million or 50.6 million if you want to round upward. And it puts their international box office just under 35, which gives them 85 million in the box office. Not good. Not good. And what's interesting is we can compare this with something that people enjoyed. We can do it with Sonic 2. And I want to do this on purpose because I did this during the 6 Minute Daily. And oops, that didn't work. Why is it not working? Let's try again.
Probably because you didn't put a hedgehog in there. I don't know. There it is.
Many reasons why it didn't work, but
there we go. Yeah. All right, so here we are. These are the numbers so far, right? So at least this is the chart. That's less interesting than the actual numbers. So here they are. These films released in different months. April 8th not necessarily being a particularly great time to go see the film.
I'm surprised they did Sonic for that cheap, to be honest with you.
90 million. This is the argument we were having the other day, Tom, is I think, or Sunday night, I should say. I think that I can't see spending $200 million.
Here's the difference. The biggest thing that probably cost anything in Sonic's budget was Jim Carrey.
Money well spent.
And other than that, I guarantee you James Marsden ain't making more than maybe a cool $1 million or $2 million for this movie. The other rest of the cast is probably working for scale ×2.
But, and you're probably right, but if you look here, I mean, it opened in less theaters. It cost less money. It opened $22 million more at the box office on its weekend. $22 million more. To me, that's a big deal.
It is a massive deal. I mean, it cannot be understated enough, because if there is anything that really highlights the level of fail here, it is that.
Yeah. And the press is out there speculating on what actually the problem is with this film. I have to ask both of you, why didn't people go see Lightyear? I know a lot of people are going to give me it's a multiple different reasons, because that's the same answer I would give. I'm just curious, in your opinion, why didn't people go see Lightyear?
I think it's a combination. What about you, Andre?
I think it's two things. I think it's down to the parents first and foremost. I think that the parents are like, "What's this remake? There was a great Buzz Lightyear thing already. Why is this not a continuation of that? Why remake that?" That's one thing. The other, I think it's the revelations, the leaked clips from Disney and everything. Not everyone will have seen them, but enough will have seen them to get the numbers down from 75 million to 50. I mean, those things went viral, and there have been so many things that people are starting to wake up to Disney. I think it's the not so secret agenda being made explicit. I think that's the biggest reason, and the proof will be in the pudding with Pixar's next movie, right, which goes even further with the agenda. If that fails too, there's your answer, and I think it will.
Yeah, I think the agenda didn't help. I think that the fact that a well-advertised moment in that film, it was much publicized. I think that Chris Evans opening his mouth didn't help. Valiant says so many things working against that movie. He's 100%
Yeah,
right.
You guys have pretty much mentioned them all. I think it's between Toy Story 4 being a shit movie, Tim Allen not being in the movie, the buzz, pun intended, getting around about the kiss, And we've even seen where in some countries they've put in warnings now.
Yeah.
For families.
Yeah.
So that right there will tell you where that money's going. And again, they've got a week or so, and then Minions comes out and they're done.
They're toast.
They're toast after that. There's no way this movie's going to make much more than like. It'll be lucky to make its production budget back, and that's the thing is, it ain't getting that money back.
So I think Andre, I think we're all onto something. I think that Disney's losing the family audience now.
I think that they've lost the trust of the audience. Yeah.
And
rightfully so.
Yeah, and Valiant doesn't think that Lightyear will see, or it will be lucky to see 250 million global. I agree
it will be lucky at the most.
Yeah. I mean, it turned down the China bucks. It turned down, and again, I'll give them credit where it's due. They didn't cut out their pandering moment for China or the Middle East.
Yeah, but from what we've been told, it didn't need to be there in the first place.
Here's the pointless. Thing, though. It's actually far more integrated than just a moment. Everyone keeps talking about the kiss, but it's far more fundamental than that. My understanding, again, I haven't seen the movie, but my understanding is that the lesbianism is fundamentally ingrained into the whole storyline. The kiss is just a blink and you miss it expression of it, but it's there at the fundamental story level.
Well, it probably sounds about like what I was saying yesterday about how, the complaint that one critic said about Obi-Wan Kenobi could be applied to Lightyear and a lot of these other films too. Sure, you take major male star. You can even go back as far as Mad Max, and I know this pisses people off when I say this, but Fury Road is like one of the ground zeros for this shit. Yeah. You take your main character, you surround him by strong whammons.
Yeah.
And then he gets his ass handed to him through the whole movie and protected and saved by whammons. We saw it in Solo. We saw it in all these other movies. And granted, that wasn't even the biggest problem with Solo. There were problems for Solo before the movie was even, shown for the first time. But the whole concept of Solo was doomed from the start. And you can compare that to this, but I don't see the comparison here. This, by all means, on paper, minus the things that we're saying are the problems. If you get Tim Allen involved, if you take out the stupid fucking woke politics, this movie might have had a chance. Even up against Jurassic World and Minions. Right? Like, this is Disney's big release this year besides Thor for the summer. They're fucked.
Yeah. I think that's probably true. Yeah, and you know what? Darth Scipio says something that's pretty obvious to me. Lightyear should have been made for boys, period. Girls are getting all the animated Disney films.
Well,
boys.
I forget the author's name of that article I'm referring to, Andre, for the Obi-Wan one, but he said the same thing about that.
Yeah. Exactly the same thing. And this is like the recurring joke about Disney, though, right? Tom, you have made this joke several times. They bought Marvel specifically to get some boys content, and the first thing they did once they had it was, now how can we make it accessible for girls?
Same thing with Star Wars.
It was more so for Star Wars. Like, they let Marvel breathe for a little bit. It was Iger. We know exactly the moment it happened, right? It's in his book. He was thumbing through the fucking Marvel character dictionary or whatever it is, and he came across Captain Marvel, and he was entranced. And then the same thing with Star Wars was at the moment where they said they don't want to do what George Lucas wanted to do. But we know there he decided to listen a little too much to Kathleen Kennedy and let it be more female oriented. And there you go. There's another two of the biggest boy franchises on the planet. And DC's making the same fucking mistake with the two of the other biggest male properties on the planet with Superman and Batman.
Yeah, when they're making the Trinity all female. I mean, how progressive of them.
Well, yeah.
After a while, Spider-Man is all going to be what boys have left, and maybe Ninja Turtles. But I'm worried for that because Seth Rogen's going to fuck that up.
Well, we'll see what Conan, May of next year.
That's right.
Yeah, but Conan's a little for old. Like, I'm talking like 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old boys.
You can introduce them.
Conan, the 90s animated series.
That's true, but even you introduce them to He-Man, which is basically prototypical.
Yeah, I know. That's a starter. That's a starter right there. Oh wait, we saw what they did with Netflix.
Wait, that deserves this.
this is where Disney's going to like lose the investors, because when Minions comes out, and by the way, companion advertising, synergistic advertising that they're getting into with the IHOP commercial and the other stuff, Minions sell stuff. They don't just sell themselves. They don't just sell the movie. They sell stuff.
And they're beautiful because they're woke in the right way, right? They're gender neutral. They're completely race neutral. They don't speak they speak their own specific language, right? Like, and I compared them last night, and I believe, as far as I'm concerned, that was the best comparison. I compared them to the Smurfs in the California Raisins craze, because you can put whatever you want on them. And I remember every time one of these movies come out, whoever it is, Burger King or McDonald's, will have 40 of those fuckers that you got to collect, just like the Raisins and the Smurfs. Same difference. It's a brilliant fucking thing. Anymore, who gives a shit about Gru? It's not so much about Gru anymore. It's about the damn Minions, and they were a throwaway joke in the first movie.
Yeah, they were great, but their appeal is wide, and they're even there. It's so large that you have theme park stuff based on them in Universal's parks because they're that successful.
And I don't know if the Raisins were very big for you. I doubt they were, Andre. You probably have no idea, really. But I got to imagine the Smurfs were big enough over there, at least.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. When you say raisins, which raisins are you referring
to? The California raisins.
They weren't big, but
I didn't think so.
I remember them.
Yeah. And Valiant says something brilliant, and I'm telling you right now, he's 100% spot on. We don't make financial advice here on the program. We don't give it, but we talk about finances and studio finances and stuff. Disney, get ready for 2 more fiscal quarters of theatrical distribution operating losses. Whatever 75 plus million or so they made with Strange just got wiped out and turned into a minus 75 million with Lightyear. Actually, yeah, you're 100% right. This is a $200 million budget for the film.
Yeah.
And how much do you think they spent on advertising?
Too much.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I've seen toys and advertising for this movie for the better half of this year. I don't know why they thought this was a good idea. To be honest with you, I didn't even know this was going to be a theatrical release. Because remember, I kept asking that. I'm like, this ain't going straight to.
I remember.
I'm like, this doesn't seem like it's big enough for a theatrical release. Because I remember when the Buzz Lightyear stuff came out last time in the midst of Toy Story 2, because that's when I had the video store, and they did a big old push for that, and it did okay, but I'm like, I wouldn't get behind that and be like, oh yeah, this is the next big thing.
It was a substantial, they made substantial changes to the character, which is always a failing thing. I don't know why they haven't learned those lessons, but they changed Buzz. They changed Buzz's voice. There's no reason Tim Allen couldn't have voiced the live action version.
Politics. That's the only reason. End of discussion. We know it.
Well, we know
whatever
that,
excuse they want to fucking use, it's dumb.
Yeah, but
because what you have is basically Chris. And from what I've seen from the trailer, you basically got Chris Evans doing a Tim Allen impression.
Yeah, and that's what everybody.
You can't
says.
tell it's Chris Evans.
No, and you've got Valiant Renegade saying something. I think the number's higher. Valiant, I think it's probably closer to 125. But yeah, you're right on P&A.
I'll watch how fast those toys go to.
No,
I can't believe they haven't gone to clearance yet. They've been sitting on the shelf for a while.
They're going to head for Ollie's or some other discount place, indeed. And hey, what's up, Abomination AJ, everybody? Awesome.
Well, here's one thing I do know: dinosaurs are still selling because the only reason some of the Cretaceous Park thingy toys got pushed off the shelf is for the new movie stuff. So, and then at my local Walmart, they have, not only do they have a section in the aisle, they have an entire end cap for the dinosaurs. So, and I was even tempted to buy a T-Rex. I'm like, that looks pretty fucking awesome, man. Like,
you think we'll get back to the days where kids put movie posters up on their wall?
I still think some kids do, but
absolutely, if you have the right the right movie that can capture the culture again. I think the problem, though, is that right now there are so many things. You have like so many big things all at the same time, and since there are so many, they all cancel each other out, not leaving like one thing, the breathing room, to completely dominate. Like, I don't think we're going to have like a Batmania or anything like that again, where all the kids are going to go and get posters and what have you not.
Oh, man.
Because nothing is going to be allowed that kind of breathing room to dominate culture. I mean, if you go back to like the 50s, 60s, how many like cultural things were there? What, Howdy Doody or something? Nothing else. weren't there any Star Wars?
Cowboys.
Like, DC Comics, they were for kids. Marvel Comics weren't a thing yet. Go back to the 60s, 70s. You had some few things. Still no Star Wars.
Superman was kind of a phenomenon when he came out.
Yeah, kind of, but yeah, I guess maybe I wasn't there.
Because there was a point, but that's early 40s or whatever. So yeah, like
yeah, exactly. But then you didn't have like the infrastructure to allow that kind of holds that you could get.
No, and if they were smart,
but not that kind of a hold. It was like the 80s and 90s where like kids could like get posters of the latest fad, which really took over everything. And you had like
late 70s into the 80s,
replacing each other. Yeah, so the late 70s, 80s, and 90s. But since then, there's been so many things that I don't think that any one thing can dominate enough for that to happen.
I think Andre's got a point there because nothing is allowed any time to breathe, right? Like because right now, honestly, Spider-Man would still be dominating if this was the 80s, right? Because a movie would run for 6, 7, 8 months before it would finally kind of peter out.
Exactly. Now it's done after the opening weekend.
Top Gun's the closest we've had, and Spider-Man is the closest we've had to anything like that, where it just continues to play. And Top Gun, maybe it's ironic just because it comes from that era. I don't know, but
and there's the same kids that would have gotten Top Gun posters then are the ones that will be getting them now because they're the ones driving this.
I think you're right. And anyway, I thought that was a great question to ask.
No, and I remember Top Gun was really big when I was a kid. I remember there was the 2 or 3 kids on my block that had the posters, had the airplanes and all that shit, and they loved that movie and they watched it almost every fucking day. It was like, yeah, I'd rather watch Beverly Hills Cop.
But that's the thing, right? I mean, and I even knew kids that had video game posters from the arcades.
Like Nintendo. That's what I remember loving about getting the games Mario. New is you get the posters and shit with them.
Yeah, they'd have them all over the place in their room with their film, and then their music posters.
My buddy is the worst at that. He would actually he would walk into his house or room. Now it's his house. It used to be his room, but his house is that way. Like every single bit of the wall is covered with a poster of some type. Yeah. But he's got like 30 years worth of a collection too. Like, so that's where that comes from.
Here's an interesting piece of information.
I got more posters than I could ever put up either.
Yeah, well, I have lots and lots of tubes of posters, but Rob Alta says Top Gun's still #1 in Taiwan after 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's a rarity. Like, that's what I mean. Like, that's the kind of way it used to be in the 80s, right? You'd have a movie that would be #1 for
forever,
2 months, and it would dip off for like a weekend or two for a semi-big movie to come in and take its place, but then it would just come right back
up. Yeah, well,
Back to the Future, all those movies used to do that. They would just play and play and play and play, and it was just like, you would never know when they were going to come to video because they were so big, and that's the way the theaters used to run that shit, and then they'd re-release them again before they'd come to video. Like they did that with the Indiana Jones films and stuff like that too, I remember.
Yeah.
Now, I don't even think Raiders came to video until Temple of Doom came out?
God, I don't
Before my time, I couldn't tell.
I think so. I think if I remember right. Because if I remember right, I remember the first time I seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, it had a trailer for Temple of Doom in front of it.
Wow. Valiant just said something brilliant. This is the cultural phenomenon that we needed, right? Because Top Gun opens in Korea tomorrow. Thank you, Valiant. Says it could pull between 40 and 50 million there in the next couple of weeks.
Nice.
Did you even read that super chat?
No, I was trying to get to them. You guys
I'm sorry, that was my bad. I'm glad I caught it.
Nah, you guys were having a great conversation. It's still starred. I don't unstar something till I've read it. So, but Christian Delorme for another Canadian $5. Today's show sponsored by Christian Delorme from Canada says, "Okay, Andre, in Canada it's metric, so I will stop measuring my country. Cheers." Well, there you go.
It's metric in Norway too, so go for it.
Imperial. We've got Trenchman. Hey, greetings, my friend, and a cool avatar says for $4.99. I am not against woke stuff, but the movie was dull and tried so hard to be quirky and epic while also destroying fun villains like Zurg. What a waste. I'm surprised we haven't destroyed Vader yet, but I guess that's the plan of this Kenobi show.
Well, give it time.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that, Trenchman, and I understand. And like I said, I'm not inspired to see anything from Disney. I actually made a video and have said multiple times, I think I'm done with Disney for a while. We'll see what happens. Nikki D for $5. Good to see you, Nikki. Says, what will Disney do if the stock slips below $80 for an extended period of time? Well, they're going to have to do something. Chapek at that point should have full authority to just go Queen of Hearts on that whole kit and caboodle. I don't know. What do you think, Andre?
Well, I think that the first thing they're going to do is sit down and have a good cry. And the next thing is that then they're going to have to get serious and say, okay, look, this cannot go on. Now we have to identify what the problem is exactly. And then hopefully the shareholders are going to say, this is our money that you're losing here. You do whatever. You need to fire 1,000 people, fire 2,000.
Yeah.
I hope that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then they're just going to have to be patient and realize that things are going to get worse before they get better. So just look at this as a time when they have to have like ice in the stomach, do what is needed, rebuild, rehire actual good people, and then make proper neutral productions, get the word out there that neutrality is back in the driver's seat now, and then watch the money flow in. Like, all the potential is there. The fan base is there. They're not going to get back every single one they lost, but they're going to get back many enough that it can absolutely get the share price back to healthy levels again.
They're down again today, Andre. They're down another $1. I think it's they're down to 93.29 right now. We're down 1.1%.
Well, of course, it should be noted that everything is down. Of course, Disney is down more.
Yeah.
So they would be down anyway. But it doesn't help that everything is down, because that means that all of the partners that they rely on, they are down. Investors become like nervous, they become jittery, they want to sell stuff. That further drives prices down. So just like the whole market drives down the price more than it otherwise would be, and then it gets like a vicious repeating cycle there. Before we move on with next topic, there was a comment that I would have liked to address earlier, but it was on screen and it disappeared before we got to it. Someone asked about the Ablaze comics, the Ablaze Conan comics.
Let me see if I can find it. Yeah.
It was relatively early. It was when we spoke about it.
Yeah, I'm headed that way.
And the answer is that the Ablaze Conan comics are not actually made by Ablaze. They are reprints from a French publisher. They're reprints from Glénat. And Glénat, they did like, I think it was like 14 specials or something like that. And Ablaze are going to print all of them. And they are soon done. And when that is done, it is done. There's no more of them to print. So what they have done instead is they want to try to stay in like the Conan-esque business, because this is unlicensed. They have no license for what they're doing. That's why they call it the Cimmerian, because they can't use the title Conan on the book and publish it in North America, because they don't have the rights for that. So this is all ways of bypassing the copyright laws. So how they're trying to extend it is by doing like a series of Conan's women, of Valeria and Belit that's going on right now. That's their own. That's Ablaze. It's god awful. But you'll be getting all of the original Glénat series, which are soon finished. After that, who knows?
Yeah, and Ironcaster mentioned that Titan now has Cowboy Bebop, Elric of Mellowbone, Minions, Blade Runner, and Doctor Who. That's awesome.
Seems like pretty good company.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be wonderful. We could have a comic renaissance, right? Right? We could. I mean, we could see.
I think that those comics are from. I don't know how many are going to read them, but I hope that many will read them, because I think they're going to be amazing.
Okay.
They're going to be written amazing, and they're going to look fantastic.
Yeah. Sadly, I cannot find that. I remember seeing it, and then I must have clicked off it and dropped it, and I can't find it again. I'm so sorry, but thank you for speaking to that. I appreciate that, Andre.
Absolutely.
But back to this real quick. To me, it wasn't even fathomable that they could get down to $80, let alone 90. And I set the price that I would consider like putting money in any direction that way. And I'm still probably going to be just too stubborn to do it. But I set that bottom end at the bottom at 87. That's personal for me. I'm not sure if anybody speculates.
I'd say that's a relatively good place to buy, because think of it this way, that right now the share price is low for two reasons. One is that it's Disney's own failing, but it's also the market failings. And of course, we're not giving any kind of like advice here. Who knows what's going to happen? Suddenly the CCP decides that they're going to confiscate the Hong Kong and Shanghai parks. That's going to be bad for Disney. That's not going to do any wonders for the share price. But still, when the price is at this level, just imagine if JPEG is able to clean things up, and 2-3 years, fans are going to largely be back again and excited. This is the same thing that they were prior to Endgame for both Star Wars and for Marvel. Imagine if that happens. What's that going to do to the share price?
The conversation around this happened a decade ago when it came to whether or not Disney could lose the parks in China. The idea of building a park in Hong Kong was a good one until, the British actually decided that they were not going to stick around and honor their deal. And, if Hong Kong had remained free and untaken by the mainland in the way that it has been recently, maybe that would have been okay to leave it there. Investing in Shanghai was a huge debacle, and there's money missing. That needs an investigation on top of every other investigation that's going on with Disney right now financially. But there was definitely graft, which will get you killed by the Chinese government in China if you are a party to that. But there was definitely that going on there to get the park done the way it was. I think it was a terrible business decision. I think both of those parks, as you mentioned, could be seized at any moment by China. That's it. What are you going to do about it? And at this point, China,
again, you can sit down and you can have a good cry, and that's honestly the best thing you can do. And there's nothing else to do.
Yeah, and would that turn off other corporations to investing in China? China's closing itself off again. So, maybe
it's a trend of the world. Battle lines drawing, iron curtain getting back up again. So it goes with the territory. So, the best thing Disney can do is find a Chinese licensor for the parks right away, while they still can get something for them.
Yeah, it's getting, man, and this is true. Joey's saying something that's also true. It's also getting, PR as family hostile, yes, and family boycotted. Yes, Disney is getting that they are reaping what they sow, is a popular colloquialism. But in all honesty, I think they are. And speaking to that, they don't understand what they're doing anymore because they don't have creatives that have come up through the ranks, have no merit. People that think they wanted to be in a job and they were given the job and they can't do the job. And an example of that, it comes from an article that somebody I think mentioned in the chat from Forbes. And this is probably going to be the last article that we hit today. But Disney misunderstood the unique appeal of Buzz Lightyear. And this is from Danny D. Placido. Lightyear fell short of expectations, failing to win the top spot at the box office despite featuring Buzz Lightyear, one of the most memorable animated characters ever brought to the big screen, in his first solo spin-off adventure. Kind of. Interesting way to finish that sentence. Toy Story remains one of Pixar's strongest films, and also functions as a fiendishly clever toy commercial, framing Buzz Lightyear as a must-have item. There's a reason that Buzz is still one of Disney's top-selling toys of all time. So why did Lightyear fail to reach the stars? Reviews have been mostly positive, but not particularly enthusiastic. Lightyear is being heralded as a solid space adventure film and a surprisingly thoughtful meditation on the passage of time. But the film's connection to its titular character and to Toy Story is vague at best and at worst confusing. Lightyear is a movie within a movie, supposedly a film that sparked Andy's interest in a Buzz Lightyear toy, but the film doesn't satirize 90s blockbusters or even connect to the beloved animated spin-off Buzz Lightyear Star Command. Well, we know what they want to do with that animated project. The film feels like a standalone sci-fi concept reskinned into a recognizable IP. A cynic might suspect that Disney simply wanted to extend the shelf life of one of their most popular toys, having wrung the last drops of juice out of the Toy Story franchise. I'd argue that Disney never understood the appeal of the character in the first place. Buzz Lightyear is an archetypical hero, a blend of generic sci-fi tropes representing the cultural shift from dusty westerns to pulpy space operas. Most importantly, he was just a toy. The genius of Toy Story is that Buzz slowly comes to the realization that he is not a spaceman destined to save the universe. He's a piece of sentient plastic. It's a brain-breaking existential crisis, one that both humbles and empowers him. Buzz is such a fascinating character because he is forced to see himself for who he truly is, transcending his delusions of grandeur to become a smaller, greater kind of hero. In Toy Story 2, Buzz experiences another epiphany as he sees himself replicated hundreds of times on the shelves of a store and is again reminded of his insignificance. Buzz learns he isn't special, but he is unique. He finds great meaning in Toy Story's somewhat nihilistic world, where the good times are short and the landfill is eternal. But there wasn't much growth for him in the next two films, where Woody took a bigger share of the spotlight, and Buzz was reduced to a punchline where there was nowhere left for his character to go. Hence, Buzz was reborn in Lightyear, redesigned to look like a cop, blasting off on a real space adventure, completely missing the appeal of his character.
Well, and they missed another point here. Like, ironically, what did Buzz represent to Woody? He represented, the future of toys.
Yeah.
Well, the future of toys is now superheroes.
Yep.
Buzz could have slipped into that outfit very easily. But instead, it sounds like here that this guy's point he's making is that they went the opposite direction. Yeah. Instead of embracing that aspect. Because that's what I said on paper. A Buzz Lightyear movie should do fine.
Absolutely.
But it's like they did everything against what it could be. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Hunter.
No, which only goes to, which is just like a comment, and a rather horrible one, on the talent, or rather lack thereof, of Disney's writing staff. I mean, it's just not just that the company is like woke and you have woke executives and stuff like that. They have hired woke people, young activists who have no life experience, who have no understanding of life, the universe, and everything, to quote something else. and who don't get their own properties, who can stay consistent with what has been done before, and so they're going to miss obvious things like that, just going in a completely different activist direction. And it's like Disney has to fire them, all of them, because there's no way that Disney can really turn things around when you have incompetents who can make something, or who can fail to grasp the inherent potential in a Buzz Lightyear project that there is. I mean, you have the fan base of old. You could have built on the series from the year 2000. And Tom, you're exactly right with the superhero thing. Buzz Lightyear can easily fall into that. You can use that as the way in to reach a new generation of kids and everything. And there ain't no reason why every single 5-year-old or 4 to 7-year-old shouldn't want to be Buzz Lightyear. At least for a week.
It would be really, really easy. You guys are both genius, by the way. And this is what scares me about Disney, that they didn't look at it this way. They absolutely could have hung a superhero costume on Buzz and gotten extended life out of the Toy Story franchise by merely, in the course of this film, have a accident happen to Buzz that gives him superpowers. That's all he would have had to do. And then poof, superhero.
Well, he doesn't even really
You don't
need
even need
superpowers.
that.
Yeah, his
He has
suit
an
and all
Iron
that
Man
shit.
Suit.
Yeah, exactly.
He has an
Yeah.
Iron Man suit. That's all he needs.
So yeah, I guess you could turn him into Iron Man, indeed.
Yeah,
But
make him Iron Man.
Yeah, but I feel like they could have, they could even gone further with it and changed that up. So Buzz could then be, dressed up as all these other types of superheroes. There was opportunity missed there. You both are very,
Absolutely.
very astute.
And what's amazing to me is that, and this isn't the first time, like for instance with Tom, as just how he wants to fix Ironheart.
Yeah,
Make a shit character and make it something like, why don't we do this completely for free, and they don't even have the decency to steal our better ideas?
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, I know. We can do the woke shit better than them.
Yeah,
it's not that hard.
Parodies, and it'll be better.
Yeah. And Buzz Lightyear, that cartoon Star Command, is beloved. Everybody watched it, loved it.
And my Ironheart fix didn't do anything other than give the character some fucking actual heart. Yeah. Right? Like, that's the thing, is it's not that hard to do. For them, they see it as it has to be an insult to the original character. Of course, we see that with Obi-Wan and Luke and all that shit.
Part of the Marxist ideology. Everything must be subversive. Everything must be aimed at demoralizing society. Can't get out of it.
Well, and here's another one. I just found this out yesterday. This has been one of the things pissing me off. We got some updates on Beverly Hills Cop 4. Speaking of Beverly Hills Cop, I brought it up earlier.
Oh, I can
guess what the new one's going to be about.
No, not what you want.
Axel's long lost daughter. So of course they're going to make him a deadbeat dad.
Oh, fudge.
So it's basically the same fucking plot as Coming to America.
They're out of ideas.
And I mean with the two.
They can't destroy men fast enough. And you know what? Joey makes a great point. And Joey, I'm looking into the thing, and I've reached out to some people that would know about the park situation in China. I will keep looking into that. God, could you imagine having an $8 billion write-off as a cost?
Oh, I was excited. I opened up Six sent me the link yesterday. I'm opening up like Beverly Hills Cop 4. Oh, it's going to start shooting this summer? What? Jerry Bruckheimer's actually producing? For those who don't know, he did not produce the last one. Oh, Axel's long lost daughter. What the fuck is this shit? Yeah. Like, yay. That's what. Who the fuck is going to be Axel Foley's daughter? What the?
Yeah. Abomination AJ. There you go.
Don't you dare.
Abomination AJ.
Wait and see it happen.
You're probably right.
It wouldn't surprise me. Abomination AJ says a great Buzz movie would have been similar to Guardians of the Galaxy. The animated series did it better and had the strong women they want to push. These people don't know the character, indeed. Thank you, Abomination AJ. And Mecha J for $5 says Lightyear could have had the potential to kickstart a new franchise and bank off the superhero trend, but they managed to screw that up so bad. Indeed. I think, I mean, it's insane. It's insane. They just gave it up. They gave it away. They're giving away money. Darius Munchausen sends us $1.49 box of popcorn. Probably has butter on it. Andre, do you want buttered popcorn?
You know what? For fun, I'll have some buttered coffee because I haven't tried it since 1995, which is the only time I've ever had buttered popcorn. That was the first time I was in America.
Real buttered popcorn. Real butter.
Because in Norway, we only have real dry salted popcorn.
Yeah, and I like salted popcorn. I don't need butter, but sometimes when I just want to clog my arteries really fast, add some butter.
Butter is my bane.
Clogged arteries are tight.
Tight.
The doctors say my arteries are fine. I'm going to keep eating butter. I don't care.
Speaking of, oh man, the best part of Screen Rant
totally fine, but anyway.
The best part of Screen Rant is that dude, and I was so glad he has his own channel now. I was like, yay! So super easy, barely an inconvenience. Let's see, anybody else out there? Tessa Thompson could be in the new Beverly Hills Cop.
Unfortunately, that's the other one I was thinking of too.
Yeah. Tom Several says Tia Tequila. No, I don't.
I've seen some of the options in there. Someone brought up Moses Ingram too, and I'm like, no.
I saw that. We've got
no.
Frankie Nose saying it's been a light year in Disney profits. It's going to be a
Oh.
That's right.
Oh.
AJ, you didn't have to send the $5 saying nothing, but AJ for $5. Abomination AJ sends $5. Thank you, my friend. It's good to see you. This is a man. This is a man I want to do art for me. I want to do art merch because he is a very talented artist. I got to meet him in Dallas, so thanks for being here, friend. I appreciate it.
No, we're not thinking fourth dimensionally enough with this Beverly Hills Cop 4. It's probably going to end up being Leslie Jones.
Oh, I will find a building to jump off of.
No, I'm kidding. She's too old for that. Remember, they actually had her play the mother. The illegitimate mother in the second coming. Oh God, I hated that movie.
Which means that he at some point he had to have done the nasty with Leslie Jones.
I know, and they do, and they don't get around that in the movie. I'm like, they could have easily got around that. No, they had to make it be, and it's like, no, fuck that movie. I have not watched it since. I've not even thought about it much since, and now it's just reminding me of that. Is this whole Beverly Hills Cop 4 thing? It's like, no.
Joey, I would prefer Zendaya too, by the way.
Me too, to be honest with you, because at least Zendaya is. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, see, I'm right sometimes. I wouldn't be surprised if.
But I don't see her as funny.
She doesn't have to be funny. She only has to be snarky.
I'd go with Zoe Saldana before I'd go with any of them, but she's probably too old now. Because that's the thing is, how old are they going to have this kid? Because the only chance it could be anybody's kid is the one from the third film. And if that's the case, then she's barely, 94 to 2024 would be 20 years, right? So yeah, that makes no fucking sense either way. I don't get it.
Bridget Nielsen's character had a baby with Axel. There you go, Eric.
Oh God, that would be. She died. She got shot.
She was fine. She, in Marvel, nobody's dead, right?
Well,
Aquafina. There you go, Sean Estep.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. One great idea after the other. Like Tom is so happy right now.
I think everybody's on board with this. Zendaya. I wonder what Martin Acosta Santana thinks. I'm curious to find out who he thinks should be in there. Green from STD. I don't know. I don't think so. Beverly Hills Cop 4 won't be funny. Well, yeah.
It's starting to look that way.
Yeah. I
got script scouring for the script. We've got a breakdown of characters, and I don't see any of the classic characters in there outside of Axel.
In Star Wars, lightsabers are just clubs. Nobody dies. If you've been on the Galactic Star Cruiser, there are little light sticks that you run into a flashlight to train. That's insane. Forced humor, indeed. Yeah. That's Mikey Spock. Yeah, I know. Thank you. Judge Reinhold.
I don't think he's in it.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so either.
Which is a big mistake, if you ask me. He should be the chief of Beverly Hills.
Halle Berry. Halle Berry.
She's way too old.
She could be the mom. She could be the mom.
Well, they already had what's her face. Not Robin Gibbons. I can't remember her name from part 3. Like they got it on in the end of the film there. That's the only time Axel ever had any love interest in the movies. Yeah, they managed to keep no love interest for Axel in the first 2 films. That's a rarity in Hollywood.
Yeah, Tom Servo, no Leslie Jones. No.
Well, sadly, that may be one of the choices. I don't remember how old she is, but she might be a little too old. Thank God.
Wait a minute. Now, you want to if you cast Jane Theory as the daughter, sign me up.
See, they actually, here's the thing that bothers me. This is probably a repurposed version of the TV script that never got used, because they did a TV pilot with Axel Foley, Eddie Murphy himself, for CBS that CBS turned down. But because the show was going to be and that had Judge Reinhold in it too. I want to find this pilot because it's about Axel Foley's kid. But he's a boy. He's a son. And I'm like, that I'd like to see.
Do you remember what the pilot was titled?
Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, okay.
It was like back 2013, 14, somewhere in there, maybe 15 at the latest. It wasn't that goddamn long ago. They shot it and everything. And Eddie Murphy was supposed to show up from time to time in guest spots. But it was supposed to be more about his son being a cop in Beverly Hills. But yeah, Teresa Randall. Thank you, Parrot Head. He's always good with those names. Teresa Randall. I couldn't remember who it was, but yeah, Teresa Randall. So it's not like they couldn't have had a kid together, and we haven't seen them since then. They didn't have to make it an illegitimate kid either. That's what bothers me, right? Because then it just sets up the whole bad dad trope again, as always.
But again, that's all they do is destroy men. But man, I feel like and look, our one of our Ghostbusters fans are here going, no.
Well, and I hate to break Eclay's heart, but Bronson apologized for doing that role, so I guarantee you he won't do it again, which is a sad thing because Surge is the most amazing character ever.
All right. Well, I know this. We have run out of time.
You ran over time. You wanted to only go 45 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, it's okay. Anytime Andre is here, I'm happy to, sacrifice eating and, getting things done. Whatever. But,
let's call it a day because we have another show tomorrow.
We do, absolutely. Midnight's Edge in the morning was amazing. On Monday, we had Mr. Chris Gore, who was dropping bombs the whole stream. So do check that out.
And so if you head on over to Midnight's Edge Live archives, there you will not only find the full stream, you will even find clips of it, of the best bits sorted by theme.
Yeah, and
you don't have to go through like a 3.5 hour stream for the 20 minutes you want to listen to.
It was so good, and he was just all over the place. It was great, and our conversation about RRR. Definitely worth catching the clip of, folks, because that was, I'm going to do a review video. The clip
is going up in exactly 1 hour because I can't have it too close to the previous one. So in 1 hour, the clip of Odd will go live.
They're going about Beverly Hills Cop 4 the wrong way. This is how you do it. You get Teresa Randall, and yes, you let Axel have a daughter, but she's got to be like 12. And she's got to be just like her dad. And they both get kidnapped by somebody from the past, and that's what takes Axel back to Beverly Hills Cop, or to Beverly Hills. But the guys who kidnap them are driven nuts by the kid. You got to find the perfect child actress who has the same quip and timing as Eddie Murphy. And if you can't do that, then just say fuck it and don't give him a kid, because it's just you can't do it any other way. You can't have it be that. No. He's too young yet to be passing the torch on to anybody anyway.
He's pretty old.
Not really.
No, he's pretty old.
He's not as old as you'd think he is.
He's pretty old.
He was born in 1969.
Okay, so
we're close to 2030 now.
Yeah, I'm pretty old, Tom. So speaking,
I know that
people forget that he was only like 24 when he did the original Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah, that's now almost 4 decades ago.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Well, Queen Latifah as Axel's daughter. There.
She's too old too.
Way too old. She can't even lift her leg above her knee. If you've watched the Equalizer show, you've seen the funniness that happens over there. Anyway, so do check out the clips that we had, because the RRR segment was great. I can't wait to see that in an hour, according to Andre. So do check out the Archive Live channel. You guys have great stuff coming up aside from Midnight's Edge in the morning tomorrow. What's going on?
Well, we have a video on Lightyear, a post-mortem, if you will, that will be going live in, I don't know exactly when the video is finished editing.
All right. Cool.
I can't say exactly when that is, but I'm hoping in the next 4 hours.
Yeah,
but that may be optimistic.
Well,
I'm sorry, he was born in 61. My bad. He's 61.
Okay, all right. Well, there you go. And speaking of which, Tom, are you having mead in a little while?
Of course.
Okay, the guys.
We'll talk about Beverly Hills Cop. Looks like, I guess Amazon's Lord of the Rings is going back to mostly practical effects. Might talk about that. I'm sure we'll bring up Lightyear flopping.
Lightyear. There's a lot of articles out there on it. I can't believe how many people are like trying to.
Kevin Feige's out there lying about Jane again.
Oh, and also about
her muscles.
Yeah, and the new phase. The new phase of Marvel, the new
Yeah, the
sequel.
one that's actually going to have a story and an overarching theme, which this one didn't.
No, man, they screwed up. Man, they screwed up.
My God, Phase 4 or Phase 4. What a washout, the whole freaking thing. I mean, it literally, the whole thing is just filler.
It's bananas.
The whole phase so far has been pure filler with nothing to show for it. I mean, the only connective tissue to anything so far are the post-credit scenes.
Don't you think that right now Disney is producing nothing but hollow content? And I mean blanket. I'm making a blanket statement.
No, I agree.
Pixar,
you are completely right. Yeah.
Marvel, the whole nine, Star Wars.
I will say this, Darius is right. I would have done what they did with Shaft hadn't they already done it with Shaft. You make Eddie's kid the exact opposite of him. See, that's what Shaft was already, so you can't do that. But anyway, you guys were talking Marvel. I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry.
Yeah,
no.
And also we can talk Marvel later because we're
burning daylight.
We're quite late, and you have one more super chat to go over.
I do. I have one last one, I think, to get to from Crazy Cat Guy. Thank you, my friend, for being here. I appreciate your support. You're awesome, and he's always got cool avatars. As usual, I'm late. That aside, take this and add it to the hair product fund. Well, that's a financial anchor around my legs all the time. So, but hopefully with my own line of hair care products coming in the near future, I know I keep saying that, but I haven't picked exactly what I want to do. Then, maybe I'll get a discount on my own stuff. But
Culture Casino's all natural shampoo.
Actually all organic.
And beard care.
Yep. Yeah. Hair and body. Yep. That's the plan. But with that, I just want to say thanks to all of you, Trinoculus P, Crazy Cat Guy, Cathew, the Peter Venkman fan site, Tom Servo, Awesome One, Mecha J, Joey, Forbidden Ruin, Dark Winter, Ironcaster, of course, Abomination AJ. We had just an incredible group of humans that showed up today. If I didn't mention your name, it wasn't on purpose. It's because I have a terrible memory. Oh, hey, Toby Moss, there's another one. And Sonder Hammerschlag, Parrot Head, and Six. I hope to see Six later.
She's excited we got 69 likes.
69, dude. All right. With that being said, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others. Wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. And until next time, bye.
Karate with infinite patience. We are rare people. Until next time.